You know the title of this record is the Mindsweep Hospitalised, isn't it? Now, I know that's a great pun on hospital, but also it works in a sense because it's almost, I wouldn't say vivisection as such, but it is like the original album. And to me, listening to the original album and listening to this album, it's not entirely clear to me throughout, not being a producer, exactly what these producers have done, but they really have got inside these tracks.
We were very lucky because around the band, we're very open about what we could potentially do with the songs. I think when we were first sitting down talking things through, it was important for me to be able to express that for some of my artists this was going to be quite a big challenge. I don't want to be here just thinking we are merely going to take some backing vocals and put a big bass line on it. I want us to try and understand each song as best we can, but in doing so, each artist will see that very differently. Some of them might go verse, chorus, bridge, outro. Some of them might just pull out the main hook line and the riffs and take it somewhere else. You just kind of can't tell. And we were really fortunate that the band were totally open to all of it. They were kind of saying, I think what I sensed was there was almost like an anxiety that we might get it wrong and that we'd try and make a rock album with a few extra hi-hats. Particularly maybe some of the younger artists, I had to kind of like maybe talk through with them, maybe a kind of template of what I needed them to be able to bring into a certain remix. Yeah. Like, you know, I need you, that chorus has to be in it because it's just a massive moment. But
it's more sort of guidance rather than kind of dictation as to what.
Absolutely, no, absolutely. Because I mean, on the one hand, I used to make music with Tony many years ago. That's not the way I approach it anyway. For me, a lot of it is actually just gut feeling as a fan. It was quite a journey into the unknown for me particularly because I couldn't quite tell what they were going to come back with.
I was going to ask you, because looking at your roster, I noticed a lot of artists not from the UK, in fact. I noticed a lot of artists from sort of new growing areas in music, most definitely. Do you think that's why Hospital suits this Enter Shikari product so much? Because they're not coming to it with any preconceptions?
Some of that is to do with the generations of artists that we're now working with and also some of the geography of it. You know, we have artists on this project from Russia and Brazil, but crucially we also have artists on here like Danny Byrd, who's the first artist we signed in '98, and also Keeno, who's barely 20 and has just quit university to be a full-time producer. Right. And as a for instance, like if you look at like say Danny and Keeno, Will Keeno sort of said to me, it was just hyperventilating about the prospect of being able to work on this project, because he's like, I grew up listening to that band. So people like Danny and Tony, for whom it's more a case of me saying, right, I want to play you something, and no disrespect, they don't know much about the band at all, but they'll just come into it from a completely different angle, which is also why the project works, I think. I mean, there's no point having 13 sort of early 20-year-old producers working on it, because we might have something all a bit too homogenous. You know, Tony, my business partner, is just a massive rock fan. He went to see Led Zeppelin at Nebworth. So he's from that angle, and everything else, and hopefully, that's also why the project is as broad as it is. I think that was really important.